Well, hello the new, it's only me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as always from Studio B, here in the Giggle Mill, north of Manchester. Studio B, as you know, is where the resident engineer is invariably that very sweet chap, Adolf Apfelstrudel from Berchtesgaden in Bavaria. Technically perfect, unfortunately he's a disciplinarian and refuses me more than 12 digital megaburgers per broadcast. That means, as many of you will already know, I have to deny you the all-time thrill of seeing and hearing my world-famously forgettable rendition of Nessun Dorma. I have two little tales to tell you this afternoon. First one concerns some villagers in Tomsk, and they were all partial to milk, but the deliveries of milk were irregular. So they decided one day that the only answer was to get their own cow. So they got the cow, and of course to get the milk they have to get the cow pregnant. So having bought the cow at a market in Minsk, they called a local farmer and said, "We've got this cow, could we borrow your bull?" So the bull was brought, but every time the bull approached the cow from the left, the cow turned to the right, and if the bull approached from the right, the cow turned to the left. Well, this went on day after day, and eventually they gave up, and they called up the rabbi. They said, "He's the wisest man in the village." So when the rabbi came, they told him the situation, and he said, "Why did you buy a cow from Minsk?" So they all looked at him and said, "Well, we didn't tell you where we bought the cow from." "How did you know the cow was from Minsk?" He said, "My wife is from Minsk." Thank you. In the second tale, three chaps in a golf club were talking about how much control each one of them had over their wives. It was Peter, John and Morris. And Peter and John were doing most of the talking while Morris sat silent. After a while, Peter turns to Morris and said, "How about you, Morris? Are you Jewish men any different? What sort of control do you have over your wife?" So Morris said, "Just the other night, Hannah came to me on her hands and knees." So Peter and John were astounded. "Then what happened?" "Well," said Morris, "she then said, 'Come out from under the bed and fight like a man.'" Thank you and good night, folks.